We're choosing the top 5 cars from the show. Obviously, the new GT3, that thing is awesome,
Beautiful,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful car. Porsche always kills it with their factory race cars.
They do.
But this is not a race car. Even though it looks like a race car, it's a street car. This thing is insane. Tell us a little bit about this DP.
This is an authentic 89 DP. It was originally a body in white built by DP Motorsport in Cologne, Germany. It's kind of a weird car due to the fact that it was never a Porsche VIN number. It was meant to be a race car, and this guy decided to make it for the street. It's got a G50 gearbox in it. It's got an RS tuned motor built in Germany, obviously, and by the guy who used to work at Roof, one of the head builders there. Magnesium wheels, front turbofans, and a lot of chassis modifications to the body to cut wind and for high speed.
In terms of like a Miami car, this is as Miami gets.
That's right.
As we were talking earlier, and he's basically saying that you see something like this next to a Lamborghini, next to a Ferrari,
right.
next to a this, parked at a stoplight when you were a kid or when you were growing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it kind of inspired you to kind of get into this car culture.
Exactly like I told you before, it's exactly like that. Back in the days, in the 80s, Miami was wild and crazy. And a traffic light was very common to see a Lambo, a 935, a Ferrari, and you're like, what is this? And that was just, it was just traffic back then.
And also the thing is, when we came here earlier, we're like, where are all the cars? We saw all the trailers, right? And then we're like, oh, it's one of those kind of shows where people trailer their cars.
Right.
You didn't trailer this car. You drove this
That's right.
from
shop
right next to the airport in Miami.
That's correct.
So the shop, tell us a little bit about your shop.
Our shop is RMC Miami off of right by the airport, about 2 miles away from the airport. We have a diverse collection of cars for sale. Everything's for sale. We go from JDM, German, British. I mean, we do whatever we like. It's if we like it, we like to sell it.
The thing that blew my mind, so I went to the dealership the other night, and it's a one-stop shop. If you want a 240Z rally car, if you want an RWB Porsche, if you want a DP Porsche, it's just the kind of cars that you guys have in one place. Oh, and on top of that, a 3-rotor RX-7, right?
a Veilside, right?
Yeah, a real Veilside one, which is just so cool that in this day and age, you can walk into a dealership, a used car dealership,
absolutely,
and purchase these dream cars that, you know, potentially could take years to build.
Absolutely.
But it's in one place.
One place.
And if you want a car like that and you're in the area or anywhere, if you're anywhere, hit up RMC. These guys kill it. It's awesome to see.
Thank you. Thank you.
What is this? What is this? What was that,
Oh, wow.
sir? Talk to me about that. What was that?
All right, so it's the GT3 Cup. It's a 311 RS. My buddy Ryan Gates actually built it, and yeah, it's a pretty cool car. They built a bunch of them, and that's all I know. Got my buddy Ryan Gates here, 311 RS. We've been shooting together for many years. I don't even know how many years it's been.
Since 08, actually.
Since 2008, apparently.
Yeah.
So I've shot Ryan drive Time Attack in his Evos. I've shot the previous 311 RS cars, which were Evo 10s.
Evo 10s.
And I've had a chance to drive them. They're amazing. But
Thank you.
You've always been a Porsche guy. This is like the ultimate. This is like the epitome. This is the top. Tell us a little bit about this project.
Well, a brand new factory Porsche race car. I think that's everybody's dream. The fact that we were able to pick one up yesterday from Porsche was about probably my lifelong dream, but at least 10 years in the making. To see that happen yesterday was something else. Some validation that we were headed in the right direction. I cannot wait to drive it. We still got about 2 weeks till we can drive it, but I'm happy to show you around it right now.
Yeah, let's take a look around it. Yeah,
for sure. First time ever, the car is delivered in GT Silver. It's a Porsche color that was announced for the Carrera GT back in 03-04. Normally Cup cars and all factory Porsche race cars are delivered in standard white, inside and out. I meant to ask Porsche yesterday why GT Silver. I forgot. But it looks good, no complaints here.
I'm guessing you probably forgot because your name is literally written on the car.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like, I mean, it must be yours because your name's on it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's cool because I saw a bunch of the posts yesterday. I couldn't believe how many were in one area.
There was all of them. There was 23 of them there. So when you walk in and you look to your right, there was just a sea of silver 992 GT3 Cups. And out front of them, they had pulled them up, our two cars, Lee Keen and myself. So it's wild.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how to process it all. DRT gives us a good chance to kind of relax a little bit. I'll probably be feeling pretty good here in a little bit.
Yeah, well, you were honestly like the star of the show when you pulled in with your lovely fiance.
Yeah, she chose to ride with us.
Yeah.
No seat, no seat belt. I think that there's some good trust built in there, I hope. And we pulled in. The car has a rev limiter on there, so she knew that she wasn't in too much danger. But it was still cool rolling in. Lee was ahead of us parting the seas. I was giving it a couple of revs, but because of that limiter, we couldn't get it too high up in the range, so it was pretty quiet. It wasn't doing much.
It's pretty incredible. So tell us a little bit about the car.
Yeah, 4-liter. It's a real derivative of a street car engine, the 992 GT3 that just was developed or just released a few days back. That engine is a direct descendant of this, which is really cool. It means longer service life on this vehicle. Outside of the engine, the whole car itself, it's a wider body shell. As I mentioned, it's painted GT silver for the first time. It's got the side vents here, typically reserved for like an RS or like a GT3R, RSR. They included them in the GT3 Cup for the first time. And that vent isn't for intake to the engine, which we thought, but if you stick your hand back there, it's actually to cool the tires. The rear tires on these cars are always going to get hot. The rear engine, a lot of weight's back there, a lot of support. So that's cool to see that. That's it.
I mean, one of the things I noticed right away when I started shooting race cars, specifically Porsche race cars, the rear brakes are pretty much just as big as the front brakes. I mean, because so much duty is being done with a rear engine car, it needs all of that, you know?
Absolutely. And part of that larger rear brake helps that weight transfer from front to rear be minimized. It keeps that car really flat. And then that balance front to rear is awesome because of it. There still is a brake balance knob in the car, which for the first time is placed 90 degrees from where it typically is, so it's more intuitive. Forward for more forward brake bias, rearward for more rearward brake bias.
You know what? Nobody makes factory race cars like Porsche. Like, it's unbelievable because we've had a chance to spend a lot of time with the 935, with the GT2 RS Club Sport. You know, we've had a chance to spend a lot of time with those race cars, and also the GT4. Right? This same thing, fit and finish, looks like a brand new car off the showroom floor. Like any like gunk, nothing had to be removed to make it look nice. I mean, like the sound deadening stuff like that was never placed on here to begin with, you know. And my favorite thing is the fit and finish in terms of like the roll cage, the padding, and just like the little things that are factory feeling, but it's full on race car stuff.
They've been building Cup cars since 1990, I believe. So that's 31, 32 years of factory-built race cars. I know the Porsche Cup is the best-selling race car in the world, so they've got experience doing that. And each year, each generation is a huge step forward. However, with the 992, it is a giant leap. Not so much the size, which is larger, it's all the little things. Specifically, the front end of the car. It has double A-arm suspension, which is straight from an RSR. Something that we never thought we would see on a Cup car. That also transitioned to the road car, the 992 GT3, which is going to make front-end grip on this car an entirely new level.
So the last car that I had a chance to shoot of yours was a 993, as you would call it, a Cup Sport.
Yes.
Right? It was kind of like your own creation, and I really liked. It wasn't one of those things where it's like all-out horsepower. It's all about balance, and that's kind of like the thing with 311 RS. You know, it's balance, track performance, and improving on something that's already really good.
Where do we get off even thinking we can do that? I mean, Porsche delivers such a great product. They do have regulations they have to work around, and we do as well, but with time, you spend time with the car, you learn things about it, there's little areas to improve, but really, like you said, it's all about balance. But we learned that from Porsche in general. You know, these cars are delivered so balanced. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see you drive this thing on track. I can't wait to see these things on track. I mean, especially with liveries and all that. Although I do have to say, I absolutely love the fact that it is silver and it's just sitting here, like all the panel gaps, everything, like the flares, the front flare, all of it is legitimately perfect. Yeah, can't wait to see it.
There's only 2 actual toggle switches, which are just to the right under that stack of buttons. So pull that out, that one on the right, or the left side.
The new, what?
I'm trying to have you fire up the dash.
Okay,
which is really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So this, you pull it out and then pull it down.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What a cool...
And then that powers up the main for the car, and you got to see this dash. That's a huge improvement. Really, the cockpit outside of the front end is the biggest change in the car.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and you can go through the displays here.
Also, this is so sharp and so big too.
It's a 10-inch versus like a 6.
This is what impresses me. This stuff.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that, but they did.
I know.
So this display button, you can hit that and cycle through all the different menus.
This is where you give orders. You know, you give orders like, hey,
Double,
welcome to Wendy's.
2 spicy chicken McNuggets, please.
Yeah.
You're keeping it down at gold by this a little bit, right? You bring it back.
And then this I've never seen before.
That is not the right way, buddy.
Yep,
Spider-Man.
that's the right way.
Try that again.
Thank you so much for showing us this thing.
Yeah, I mean, great running into you here. Thanks for talking with me. Good to see you again, buddy.
The next 2 cars out of the top 5, one's right there, it's a Singer. The thing about Singer, their slogan, everything is important, really shows. When you look at the car, legitimately everything's important. The paint, the nickel trim, the gauges, the interior, the seat trim, everything is amazing. We're not there because they're playing really loud music there, but we had a chance to shoot the car, take a look at it, and kind of look at the textures and the details, and it's absolutely amazing. The other car that I really liked, honestly my favorite car of the show, Lee King built this Safari 911. I've featured a couple of his before, specifically Matt Farah's before, but they always have something special. You know, this one has a very wild interior. It's very roof, I guess. One of my commenters said when I posted the picture, it's a very interesting pattern. It's a dog pattern interior, but it just looks so wild, and that's kind of the fun thing about these cars. Not only can you drive over speed bumps at full speed in this Porsche, but it's just a fun car to look at. I'm sure a fun car to drive. One of these days I have to go on one of their drives where they do hundreds and hundreds of miles in all Safari cars. The next car, we're gonna check it out. They're unloading it right now. My buddy Esteban actually brought it, and I think it's gonna be pretty wild. There's a lot of highlights of the show, but I think this one is it. Granted, it's a tribute car.
It's a tribute car.
It's a tribute car.
It's an LMK 917.
It's pretty legitimate though.
Yeah.
It's like actual race car.
Yeah. The body's by Kraftwerk, so it's done specifically to, I forgot if it's Pablo or Pedro, the guy that had the Golf car. It's built specifically to what he had it back in the day. And they even added the extra glass up top so the taller driver could see out of it.
All right, so the story is Esteban is a good friend of ours, but he also works at a car dealership, but it's not any typical car dealership. It's a very special car dealership, and they have cars like this on their lot.
And this.
And this.
Which
and
is
this. And this. 996 GT2 Club Sport.
That's one of 70 in the world, one of 7 legally imported to the US, so
super rare.
Fun.
He's gonna let me drive it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun in it, and it's gonna be amazing. But tell me a little bit about this car. You guys have been dealing with some insane logistics with moving this thing around. Tell us a little bit about the car itself.
The car itself is an LMK 917. It was built by a company out, I think in Australia, and if not, it would be in the US. Patrick Motorsports did the engine for it. It is a 993 RSR 3.8 power plant, if I'm not mistaken, and it has a built race 915 transmission, so it has, you know, reverse in the other direction as opposed to up like past where first is, and it's street legal. It has blinkers, it has wipers, it has washer fluid.
Wait,
and it has
Wait.
And it has 2 seats, which I don't know how you fit 2 people in
You're
it.
right.
But,
You're right. It has wipers and everything. Well, I mean, I guess you need wipers for it to be a race car,
well,
especially
just
a
in
long
case
car.
it rains, yeah.
But it's actually street legal.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
Okay. So all right.
You
So
could register it if you wanted to.
we're gonna after we're done rolling, we're gonna take this to
Ah.
Starbucks and we're gonna
Yeah.
go through the drive-through.
100%. Yeah, look, it's super easy to get in the drive-through with this. You just pop the whole door open. you know?
Actually, who needs doors? Let's just take the doors off.
Yeah, no, I already took the back off, so you can see the engine, and that's less weight anyway. So let's just
All right.
go right.
So tell us about the dealership.
So Auto Source Group Miami, otherwise known as ASG Miami, is a dealership. We do boutique stuff. We do a lot of armored vehicles. We do a lot of fleet vehicles also for diplomats and stuff like that as well. So whatever cars they might need for the embassy and stuff. And we also do sports cars and collectibles. We are branding ourselves to be #enthusiast spec. So all the cars that we get, even if they've been tinkered with, they're tinkered correctly and they are built essentially the way that an enthusiast would want. Most recently I sold a 993, but it was a special wishes car. It was a 993 in midnight blue metallic with flamingo red interior, and it had the full C4 to C2 conversion, RS control arms, RS bushings, 997 GT3 exhaust, and 997 GT3 electronically assisted steering. The car was an animal. An animal. I really wish you would have seen it.
I just have to point out that if you need armored vehicles in Miami, you may be in a certain sort of trade. And if you're in that trade, then you may need an armored vehicle from these guys.
We got a 4Runner for sale right now, it's armored.
In case you get
into scenarios
where people are lending you lead projectiles.
In the scenario where you're in a pickle and you're getting pickled, you'll be fine. Essentially, pretty much. That's we got you covered.
There you go.
There you go. That's our new motto. I'm gonna put that on
I
the
like
website.
that.